Right, Dirt 5 is coming to PlayStation Plus. It's also already on Xbox Game Pass, so you can already get it on a subscription service on Xbox and PC, which means it's an obvious fit for me to talk about. If you come here looking for Switch content, pleased to meet you. I'm afraid I don't have much Switch content right now. I can't offer you very much. Maybe I'll add some in future, good idea. But anyway, Dirt 5. You can get it on your PC, you can get it on Xbox Series consoles and the previous ones. You can get it on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. You can even play it on Stadia if you really want to. It is a rally game. I'd place it as a fairly arcade-like rally game. So if you're not familiar with the Dirt series, this is obviously titled Dirt 5. It's the fifth in that direct line of Dirt games. But you might have heard of Dirt Rally as well. Dirt Rally 1 and Dirt Rally 2 are made by different teams, and they are pretty hardcore rally sims. Dirt 5 is not a sim, it is an arcade game. We actually, as Game On Daily, we spoke to David Springate, who was the technical lead at Codemasters Cheshire when the game was being made. And he said that the team considered it or positioned it as something of a small step up from Mario Kart. So it's for people that want a nice, easy to get into game. They've had enough of Mario Kart and they want to dabble with the kind of big engines, the big vehicles. They're not necessarily petrol heads or hardcore gamers as such. It's a game that you can just pick up and drive around and have some fun. So I mentioned that it's an arcade game. It presents itself, it's got a very upbeat presentation throughout all the menus and the gameplay. Very colourful menus, loads of music blaring, quite celebratory in the same way as the kind of Forza Horizon series, but it is a very different game to those, and I'll touch on how it stands up next to Forza Horizon a little bit later on, because that's obviously very relevant for people looking at this from the Xbox PC side at the moment, what with that also being on Game Pass. Dirt 5's Codemasters Cheshire team that made it, it actually had a lot of people from Evolution Studios that made the PlayStation 4 exclusive game Drive Club. If you have played Drive Club, if you like Drive Club, if you liked Drive Club and got into that, you'll probably feel quite at home with Dirt 5, I would say. It's almost a pseudo sequel as far as I'm concerned, a rally version of that. So the campaign is structured in the exact same way, essentially. You've got kind of chapters, a set of races, and you need to earn 1, 2, or 3 stars for each of those races, earn enough stars, and you can open up the next chapter of races and pick your route through those. So that's very, very similar to the way that Drive Club delivered its campaign. It's also got very similar focus on dynamic weather and night and day cycles, things like that. So you can kind of... The game is not Drive Club, it's not related to Drive Club, but you can see that it's inherited certain things from that team. So the basics of driving is an interesting one. I'm actually... Where racing games are concerned, I typically say that I like arcade games more so than sim games, but not necessarily when it comes to rally games. I've enjoyed rally games since way back when Sega Rally was around, which was a fantastic game. And I actually really like the Dirt Rally games as well, which are like I said earlier, the sim version of this. The thing for me is rally games or rally driving is already such an exaggerated kind of fun way to drive that you don't need to tone it into an arcade experience, at least for me, to have fun with it. So the core driving in Dirt 5 is adequate. There's fun to be had there. Like, I think they've nailed their target of making it pretty easy to pick up and play, pretty easy for the Mario Kart driver to go and have a race. But it doesn't quite hit the dirt in the way that I want it to. The sliding is just not quite slidey enough, if that makes any sense. Still, the whole presentation of it, the celebratory nature of it, the sound, and special point on the sound. So you've got your engine noises and your gravel and your dirt sliding around noises that you'd expect. You've also got, rather than having the audio play through the car stereo or straight into your ears, or like just as a background track, it's positioned around the track instead. So you'll drive past a crowd of people and there'll be an audio source there blaring out some nice loud music that will stay in your ear for a while, but you can place it, you can place where it is on the track, and that's a really nice little touch while you're driving around. There's also loads to do. So it's not an open world in the way that Forza Horizon is, or a few other games that have copied that style. Dirt 5 sticks to a more kind of traditional racing structure with events and tracks, which isn't a bad thing, by the way. So I'm a big fan of the Forza Horizon 5 open world, but there are advantages to having these kind of handcrafted bespoke tracks. There's no kind of following arrows and braking lines on the floor. Everything is pretty visually clear and obvious here. Dirt 5 also manages to have, it packs in loads and loads of content. There's loads of different types of events. So the kind of staple is a 12-car race, but those are definitely not the only kind of events that are available. You've got these kind of solo climbing missions. I'm going to call them climbing missions. I can't remember the term that they use in the game, but essentially you've got your off-road vehicle versus very challenging terrain to try and climb over, and those are good fun actually. They're one of my preferred events. You've also got a couple of horrible events that I'll just briefly mention. There's these sprint races in these cars that can only turn one way. They're awful, and I'm not going to say too much about them. You can discover them for yourself when you go and play it, but they're not fun. There are also some really challenging tracks that are set on a frozen over river that are just, if you're a platinum hunter, if you're going for that ultimate trophy, I wish you the best of luck. Those are hard and they will take you some time to beat, unless I'm just awful, which is certainly possible. Okay, so the elephant in the room. I've touched on it a few times, or I've brought it up by name a few times, but Forza Horizon 5 is out already. It came out recently, about a month ago, and it's an absolutely brilliant game. And it's on Game Pass as well. So if you are a Game Pass player on Xbox or PC, you've got options in this space, in this kind of arcade racer space. And I will have to say that Dirt 5, for all that it does right, does play second fiddle to Forza Horizon 5. It was available a long time beforehand, so on the Xbox and PC platform, the game had a full year to fly high and have its success as the best racer that platform had available. On the PlayStation side, there is no Forza Horizon 5. There isn't really any game quite like Dirt 5. There aren't really any arcade racers. You've got, there is WRC, the World Rally Championships games, for that more hardcore rally experience, but there's not really an arcade racer sitting in the same space. So Sony have done pretty well to bring this to PlayStation Plus at the point that they are. If you are exclusively a PlayStation gamer, then I would suggest jumping into it and giving it a go, unless you absolutely hate driving and you know surface value it's a racing game and you hate it. If you're someone that might enjoy racing, download it, give it a go. This is a high quality game. It's absolutely packed with content. You've got your campaign that I mentioned, you've got the online races, and I didn't mention Playground. And I'm not talking Playground games, this isn't another Forza Horizon 5 comparison, although it does have a similar mode. Dirt 5 has a really quite intricate, quite extravagant user-generated content kind of area. So you can go into Playgrounds and you can design your own courses. Dirt 5 has a year's worth of content. The content is locked per platform, so you can't, the PlayStation 5 content, sorry, the PlayStation content isn't shared to the Xbox, to the PC. They're all kind of gated because who knows what terrifying content users will come up with. We all know what users are going to come up with. But platform holders are a little bit nervous of user-generated content. Still, I had a little look at the Playgrounds, the stuff that other people have created. I've got no talent at all, so I didn't make a track, but other people have made some pretty amazing stuff. The game has been out for over a year, so there's a year's worth of content. And yeah, if you want to defy gravity and have some fun, go through some obstacle courses, it's a good place to go. And that's pretty much it for me on what I've got to say about Dirt 5 right now. It's a good game. If you don't have access to Forza Horizon 5, or you've already finished it, or you just want to try something a little bit different, get right on it. Good racing game, good fun. The split screen mode works really well across all platforms as well, so if you know any people that are within punching range, give them a controller, play some rally, then punch them. As always, thanks for watching and listening to me talking nonsense. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, touch your toes, I don't know, weird instructions. Thanks for watching.